Hello everybody and welcome back. We finally returned. I'm just too tired from work. Eh, birthdays always felt like family occasion for me. They were a time when, in spite of their full-time jobs, both my parents would make an effort to be there for the day, or at least for a party beforehand. It reminds me of how Lily mentioned she hadn't seen her family in such a long time, and even ended up moving away from Akira's house afterwards. But I guess it's the same in situations as mundane as this, considering her inability to read the packaging. Just getting groceries will be a pain without somebody else around. In the end, she just has Hanako and me, and Akira when she's off from work. Be that as it may, she still seems to have many more distant friends among the students, not to mention people like Yuko. It seems to be her own choice that there's such a separation between those two, those who are close to her and those who she only socializes with. It humbles me a little to see how much Lily seems to have her life set up and going just as she wants. Yet Hanako is there for her to celebrate her birthday, and I'm here helping her with shopping. It's a weird kind of symbiosis, I suppose. Symbiosis. Are you alright, Hisao? You've been staring at me in silence. Sorry? You just seem to go very quiet, that's all. Like you are monologuing in your mind. Sorry, I was just thinking. Oh? Now I've piqued her curiosity. It feels kind of overly personal to talk about, though. Why does it have a tick? I have to be honest. It was just kind of... I was thinking about how you seem to have everything so sorted out, even with Hanako relying on you. I can admit that even I kind of relied on you when I first transferred in. Relied. I think it's a good quality to have. I turned to Lily, surveying her reaction. She's forcing herself to look forward and furrowing her brow quite a bit. Her face looks a bit awkward, as if she was trying to find just the right words. Lily? I will thank you, but assuming that I don't rely on the presence of others is too much. You'd be wrong to think that Hanako simply depends on me with nothing in return. She seems to have a bit of trouble saying it, even though it's largely what I thought already. If she's tried so hard to maintain her independence, as anyone would have had to do in her position, cited or not, maybe she finds it hard to talk about her own needs. It's only now that I realize an omission in what she says, though I decide to follow it up largely in jest, to avoid things getting too personal. Oh? And what about me? She suddenly runs ahead of me and turns, blocking me off. With a smile, she holds her hands behind her as she leans forwards. You are different. And with that, she turns back and continues to walk ahead of me, a newfound spring in her step. All I can do is raise an eyebrow and give a dazed grin. I don't think I've ever seen this playful and teasing side of her before. So, I'm different. It's hard to work out the exact context, but knowing her, this ambiguity was intended. Our relationship has been changing, at the very least, simply because I've begun to stand on my own feet more and started getting more curious about the situation of those around me. As to why, probably a mix of personal curiosity and a want to try and work out how to deal with my situation. I'm less sure of Lily though. That's why her own statement, so similar to my own feelings toward her, throws me off so much. Watching her make her way up the street, cane tapping from left to right, I decide to settle the matter later and just smile. This is a nice side of her, and I don't want to forget it. Eventually we get to the girls' dormitories, both my arms aching from the weight of 2 sets of groceries. We're finally here. I bend down to wipe my forehead with the back of my hand. Lily stops in front of her door and sets down her bag, fishing around in her pocket for the key. Thank you, Hisao. I really appreciate your help. This is nothing. It might be nothing to you, but it's definitely something for me. And with that, she steps through the door, closing it behind her. I blink. Those were nothing but honest thanks, but I can't help feeling something different about them. Anyway, I have something else to do before I can mull on that at my leisure. I turn back to the door to Hanako's room and proceed to knock twice in quick succession, the bag still in my hand, rustling together. After a couple seconds, the door slowly opens. If one weren't looking closely, they could be forgiven for thinking it hadn't moved at all. I twist my head to the side to try and peer through the tiny sliver of a gap between the door and the door frame. Hey Hanako, I've got your stuff. Ah! With that, she opens the door completely, making her plain room visible over her shoulder. Sparsely decorated, it's probably even more unremarkable than my room. I hold out my right arm, both bags almost pulling it straight back down with their weight. Thank you, Hisao. I'm sorry to make you carry them all this way. It's fine, don't worry. Just don't make me do it every day, okay? I pass the bags to her as I give a light-hearted chuckle. After the initial transfer of weight, she manages to take them easily. I'll be off then. Night, Hanako. Good night, see you in class tomorrow. With a deep bow, her groceries still held in both hands, she steps back and shuts the door. Making my way back to my own dorm, I put one bag into my other hand to balance them out. Even as I do so, I can't get Lily's light-hearted smile out of my mind. When I first met her, it would have been nearly impossible to imagine her like that. Indeed, it feels like we've become closer in the past few weeks since I first got to know both her and Hanako. The time that I spend with her each day, the small exchanges of happiness we share, those small moments of joy as I get closer to her. I'm far from certain, but I don't think these are just the normal feelings of friendship. Once I returned to my room, I stored away my groceries and began getting ready for the night. I swapped the school books in my bag for those I'll need tomorrow, pulling out a yellow envelope Misha gave me earlier in the process. I got sidetracked by one thing after another that I couldn't deal with it earlier. Who could have written me, I wonder? The name neatly adorned the back of the envelope freezes me in my tracks. It's been so long since I've seen her writing. There's a little chance I could have identified it as hers otherwise. Iwanako. Why should she have written me? I can't think of any good reason for her to do this. I almost don't open the letter, but there's be a little point to that. If I just left it alone, its mere existence would gnaw at me until I did something about it. I look down at a piece of paper on my desk. It's bright and summery decoration, beaming happily at me. The lettering is in pink, jarring badly with the yellow sunflower border on the card. The handwriting is neat. The characters having been written thoughtfully and with an unusual amount of care. I'd barely given the letter a second thought, though when it was given to me, but now I can't get its contents out of my mind. While I'd like to say that I don't know why she used... Oh wait, he's still saying it. While I'd like to say that I don't know why she used such an old-fashioned method of communication, considering a cell phone, a phone call or an email would be both much faster and easier, the answer feels obvious given the content. A letter leaves a comfortable distance between the sender and the recipient. Unlike a phone, it isn't required that you engage in conversation, and unlike email, there is less expectation of an immediate reply. Statements such as the third years seem to be very anxious about the final exams, and it's so weird to think we are already seniors, isn't it? Are just a small talk that could have been achieved by simply replying to any of the messages I sent her while in the hospital. The ending, though, is the true reason she sent this. The last couple of lines, added almost as an afterthought. I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't? It's a statement that should hurt. I've always heard breakups are nasty stuff, but it feels like this is simply a reaffirmation of what we both already knew instead. It's the preceding text, no more than a small talk, that makes me feel most uneasy. I can't figure out why, no matter how long I sit here and look down at this bright and summery piece of paper. If you would like to correspond with me, by all means, write me back. It's plainly obvious that this is not the type of letter to be replied to. In the end, this letter is no more than a simple abdication of responsibility, a final statement to reassure herself that our relationship is over. As such, I find I have a little problem in scrunching the letter and envelope into a ball and tossing it into the waste bin, ridding myself of its existence. I go to bed with mixed feelings, cheated out of a pleasant evening by this intruder from the past. Ironically, it takes a while before I can manage to sleep. Katawa, Shoujo. My throat hurts. I got a cold from work. I sweat profusely, awaiting the dreaded moment. Each tick of the clock tenses my muscles that much more. Every minute making more hairs stand on the end. Little wink is coming for me. I can feel it. Death. Death in the form of a single sheet of paper. I take the small pile of papers from the student in front of me and pass it backwards, after plucking off the top piece. Looking to the top right of the page, I find my fears realized within that small red circle. 43! I hang my head and sigh in resignation, cursing under my breath. I can feel the aura of a similar sentiment rising from the entire class. It's strange, but that fact lifts my mood by a minuscule amount. Misery loves company, I suppose. As the teacher opens her mouth. Also, you do have more than one teacher. The room braces for the inevitable onslaught, only to be saved at the last minute. We quickly move to collect our bags and leave for lunch post haste, but the teacher delivers a parting broadside. We'll be discussing the test scores next lesson. Needless to say, there will be quite some discussion to be had. A collective groan resounds from the class, now reduced to a shuffling out dejectedly. I push the sheet of paper into my bag as I walk along the hallway, crumpling it in the process. It's enough that such a troublesome letter ended up on my desk yesterday, and now this. I hate English. He, sa, o. A stern female voice gruffly calls out from behind me. I freeze on the spot, my face becoming like stone. It's as if I can feel my brain disconnecting from my body. My eyes slowly shift right, trying to catch a glimpse of the disembodied voice. Nothing? My face begins to slip as time passes, and I decide to risk turning my head. Ever so slowly, I twist it to the... Yeah! I jump into the air and drop my bag, yelling out in surprise. As I recover and regain my composure, I turn to see. I should have known. Amy. Gotcha, Hisao! She stands there with a mischievous grin on her face, hands forward and fingers pointed inwards. She was the one who jabbed my ribs with her fingers. I look down at her with a grimace, rubbing my hair in frustration. That's not a way to greet someone, you know. You have no sense of humor. I left my sense of humor in my English class. Complain to the teacher if you want it given back to me. She pulls her best puppy dog eyes on me as she pouts. Lily's managed to build up my resistance to the tactic, but Amy's short stature adds enough to the effect to make me relent. So how are things? I haven't seen you around for a while. Same old, same old. I run so fast, nobody wants to join me in my morning runs. It's a real pain. Her modesty never fails to amuse me. Although... Uh-oh. You know what I'm thinking, don't you, Hisao? Wearing my emotions on my sleeve is one of my worst habits. She's seen right through me. Fortunately, I see somebody else approaching us that will give me an out. Oh, hi Hanako. I give her a welcoming wave and try my best at looking at like I haven't noticed Emi's pouted face. She gives me a small wave back. Hello Hisao. Emi. Hey Hanako. I'll join you and Lily in a sec. Actually, speaking of lunchtime company, it's odd to see you without Rin, Emi. Rin! Without a second word, she forgets all about us and bolts off the hallway. She must have forgotten she was waiting for her. Hanako and I stand speechless, only able to helplessly stand and watch this ball of seemingly boundless energy dash off. Oh yeah, Hisao! She suddenly stops herself just before vanishing around the corner to the rooftop staircase, spinning around to meet our bemused faces. I hate English too. And with that, she disappears. All I can do is hang my head and give a long sigh, thoroughly left in the dust. As I hear a short giggle coming from behind me, I turn to see Hanako smiling at the corner my attacker rounded. I pick up my dropped bag from the floor and quickly dust it off. Afternoon. Been busy? You don't like English? Nah, I had a test on it a while back. And Emi caught me brooding about the results. Sorry. She averts her gaze, guilt written on her face. A casual observer will think she'd just accidentally reminded me of a dead relative. Come on, it's not your fault. How are you doing in it? She looks up, though still a voice meeting my eyes. Alright, I suppose. An awkward silence passes. They seem all too common around Hanako. My nose. Oh, Lily asked if you'd like to join us for lunch on the roof. I guess I don't exactly have any pressing engagements to attend to. Sure, I'll be right up. I'll go get my lunch from the cafeteria now. Then. Go on, you don't need my approval to leave, you know. Okay, I'll be going then. My nose. She gives a skittlish reply, a small nod, and quickly makes off towards the cafeteria. I guess she must have forgotten to bring lunch today. As I walk through the hallways, more and more students start to come out of classrooms and pass me, going in the same direction as Hanako went. By the time I manage to make it to the stairs, I'm having to push my way past a busily chatting throng of students. I haven't seen that word before. I finally managed to get past the last of the crowd and round the staircase, slumping slightly in relief and slowing my pace before I open the door to the roof. Ah, damn! I momentarily avert my eyes, all but blinded by the harsh summer sun. As I slowly regain my vision, the surroundings finally take form. Lily, Emi, and Rin sit together on the rooftop, the top of the hilltop, forest around Yamako visible past the fence around them, as if to frame the view. Ah, Hisao! Lily and Rin give a quick nod of acknowledgement, and deep nod, in a deep nod of greeting respectively. I start walking towards the rather mismatched trio, and can't help marveling at the speed with which Emmy devours the rest of her half-eaten banana.